of the institution she leads as insufficiently patriotic. The hearing was held by the House Subcommittee on Delivering on Government Efficiency, a branch of DOGE that is chaired by Rep. Tim Burchett, Republican of Tennessee. In his opening remarks, Burchett said, quote, "I feel like the Smithsonian's become infected by a woke ideology that seeped into public displays, educational materials, and planning documents. The American story is the birth and growth of a great nation founded on powerful ideals and which we aim to fully achieve. But in the museum's current telling, history is just an ongoing power struggle between oppressors and the oppressed." End quote. In a 162-page report issued on July 4th, the White House Domestic Policy Council accused the Smithsonian Museum of being, quote, "subject to institutional capture by a radical activist ideology that is fundamentally opposed to telling the noble, honest story of the great country we know and love." Hi.
Good evening.
Age, state, who you voted for?
26. DJT, Florida.
Okay.
I think the enemy within is the radical left lunatics trying to take out our commander-in-chief. Because they can't accept the fact that he's their leader. He could take control in the shots. And they can't wrap around their heads around that. It's called TDS, derangement syndrome. It's a political psyop by the Matrix, trying to take out our president. I don't think that's genuine virtue for me and you, people watching, because it's not making our country great. It's actually dividing us.
Okay. I don't know what you want me to say about that. Me personally, that was a lot. Before we get started, let me be clear. I don't identify with political party. I think it makes us believe and do atrocious things, and it makes us defend stupid shit. Again, I think Republicans are cruel. I think Democrats are soft, and I think independents are contrarians. So if we're going to have a conversation, let's talk policy, because you don't have any proof that you can show me documented that says that this whole psyop is even happening. So I don't want to go on misinformation here, and I don't want to go on allegations. What is Donald Trump doing to make America better right now?
He's shutting down the feminism narrative that us young men want to see men prosper the right way, not bring the LGBTQ brought upon us and make us feminine, because our women's our girls, they're looking at us like we're below them, and we're supposed to be the leaders in the household, in the world.
Then lead. You're blaming women for lack of leadership, and that's not what a leader does. That's number one. Number two, let me ask you: are you Christian?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are David and Jonathan?
People in the Bible.
Yeah, tell me the story of David and Jonathan.
I don't know about the top of my head, but
no, never read 1st and 2nd Samuel, where David and Jonathan created a covenant under God, and God blessed their covenant, and then David and Jonathan kissed one another on the lips, and David removed his armor and told Jonathan that his love was better than any love that he had ever experienced from a woman, even though we had seen David with other women in the Bible. So we had a covenant that was blessed by God, right? And then we also saw David defeat Goliath in the next story. So there was 2 whole books that were written about the love story between David and Jonathan in the Bible. So LGBTQIA, how did God bless a covenant that he didn't ordain? Secondly, if you have an issue with the T in LGBTQIA, if you read your Bible, can you tell me who the eunuchs are?
I said I don't read the Bible every day. Just because I'm a Christian, don't mean I read it.
But you should be very, very familiar with that book if this is your faith, correct?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, you should, because it's literally the guideline for your faith. So you don't necessarily adhere to your faith, you just claim it. Because the eunuchs were the people in the Bible that Jesus told everyone not to touch, not to bother, and not to mistreat. And he actually protected them. And do you know what the eunuchs were? The eunuchs didn't identify or didn't align with male or female. And the crazy part about it was that Jesus protected them in the Bible. So I'm trying to understand your issue with LGBTQIA when God blessed a gay marriage and then turned around and Jesus made sure to take care of the eunuchs. How are you any better than your leaders?
Have you heard of Genesis 2:12? You know what that means? Marriage should be between a man and a woman.
Hold on. No. Because then you would have to say that your Bible is a contradiction, because see, then the same God said that he knew you when you were formed in your mother's womb, so he would have known that you were going to be gay. So you're telling me that if God created, right, everyone, and you can't say that it has to do with free will, because free will was only introduced in 1947 by white pastors in the evangelical sector. So with that being said, before that, everything that was supposed to be abiding in the original word of God was that you were supposed to abide by God's will. So with that said, you can't use the free will argument. So my question would be specifically, if God created everyone in his image, right? Then tell me, did God make a mistake?
He said love all humans, so probably not.
So God ordained a gay marriage. Jesus protected trans people. And then you said, fuck them all, but I'm a Christian. Right?
I'm not familiar with that story, but he accepts all humans.
Yeah, you should definitely look up that story. I highly recommend that you read 1st and 2nd Samuel, and I will grab the story of the eunuchs right now for you. Give me just 1 second. I'll tell you exactly where to go. I hope you actually do read it, because this is a big part of your faith. It's a part of accepting and loving thy neighbor. That's what they tell us to do. So with that said, it's really interesting how you've ostracized a whole group of people that, 1, God created, right? 2, God ordained. 3, Jesus protected, and you, Dylan, get to ostracize them.
Absolutely, because we should judge people based on our faith.
But your faith specifically says that Jesus said to protect the eunuchs, and God ordained David and Jonathan's union in 1st Samuel, 1st and 2nd Samuel. So I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
I mean, you can go tell that to my pastor. That's not what my pastor preaches.
So you're not a Christian?
I'm a Christian. He's a Christian.
Okay, then if your pastor isn't preaching what the Bible says, is your pastor telling the truth? And let me ask you another question. Is your pastor God? Because he preaches behind a pulpit, he preaches from what would be the word of God, right?
He was sent by God.
Hold on. No.
Yes.
We can't confirm or deny. Here's my question. My question to you specifically is he, right? Is he reading from the word of God when he teaches his sermon on Sundays?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so if he's teaching from the word of God and you are depending on him to tell you the truth about how you're supposed to treat your neighbor, and you are not actually reading your Bible, then that means faith without works is dead, which means you're still disobeying your own religion.
But it's in every Bible. What he preaches is in every Bible, including
what's
the
in every
Bible.
Tell me. What's in every Bible?
Marriage should be between man.
Wait a minute. Didn't Jesus say leave to Caesar what is Caesar's? Didn't he say that the government and the word of God should never touch? So you just blasphemed. You disrespected Jesus. He said, leave unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. That's what it says in your book. That's what it says in your book. It says, leave unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, which means that the government is left to man, while God and his peoples, right, have a totally different objective to finish. Now, see, what you've sat here and done in this moment is you have completely shown me that you're not a Christian. That's one. We'll get that out the way. Number 2, you said something about women looking at you as if you're less than. I've never looked at my husband that way, because he's a leader. So I don't understand why you're being treated that way.
Exactly. Men should be leaders out here. That's why we picked.
So I didn't say he was the only leader. I said he is a leader. See, my husband and I are partners. So there are moments where my husband, who is human, because human psychology says that humans actually deal with shit. It doesn't matter what's between your legs, right? So when my husband goes through things, I'm his partner. When I go through things, he's my partner. Every day we're a team. So nobody sits above anybody. We stand side by side, because if anything comes at us, I need to be able to see. We need to be able to both have the same realm of view to make sure that we got each other's back. See, the thing is, you guys want to dominate, and that's the issue. Women don't want to be dominated by men. They want to stand next to their partners, not behind them.
But when men dominate, it's called a revolution. When women dominate, it's a protest. There's a difference.
Okay. That doesn't, just because you're barbaric doesn't mean that you taking action is any better. It just means that you're barbaric. That's all that means.
Not really. It's men. Men are the ones that get stuff done in society. Women, they're just the talkheads. They don't.
Men get stuff done. However, America is further behind other countries in AI. We are far. We are far. You made a point, and I want to address it.
Continue.
Your point specifically was, you said men gets things done. Men have been running this country since the dawn of time. Slavery didn't end until 1868. We still have poor white people out here. We still have poor people. We still have people who can't get access to medication. We have children who can't get access to food. We have husbands, fathers, men who can't get access to jobs. We have all of these things happening because there are men in charge. See, the thing is, I don't believe that your gender determines how you lead. What determines how you lead is your level of leadership and your level of consciousness amongst what goes on around you. And when you're constantly focused on what's between your legs and the person's legs standing next to you, you're not focused on what's in front of you. Because if the only thing that validates a leader is a penis, then I would have to say that's a pretty low bar.
But statistics show that men.
Show me the statistic.
I mean, I'm looking at your headphones, your nose ring.
Yeah, show me the statistic. I want to see this. Yeah, I said, you said men are better leaders. Show me the statistic.
This platform was built by a man. Everything. My phone.
You were made by a woman.
Okay.
So then relax. So my whole thing here is, see, you're trying to make this whole thing as if women have never created anything. You can't create a fallacy here where you're just going to say, well, men did this for you. No, they didn't.
The room I'm in, this mirror I'm looking at, this.
So here's my question to you. You said specifically there's a statistic. I want to see it.
Just look at the owners who.
Where's this? Where's the data? You said that it exists. I want to see it.
Just type in everything you own.
I don't want to type in anything. I want you to tell me the name of the statistic, and I want to go directly to it. Who created the statistic? I want to go look at it. I want to be able to look at the methodology of the study. I want to be able to look at the data. I want to be able to look at the numbers, and I want to be able to look at the factors that we used in order to come to this conclusion. Where do I find that?
You can go on Google and type who.
No. Google is a search engine. You specifically said that you had data. I want to know what data you have specifically. Google is going to give me a list of things. Which one did you choose?
The data that I can see with my own two eyes.
Perfect. So you don't have data. You're just basically saying that your anecdotal experiences should dictate everyone else's lives. That's interesting. Yeah, you can say you're not going to do the homework for me, but if you ever understood how debate works, when you make a claim, you validate and substantiate your claim. So when you say things like, I'm not going to do the homework for you, it's because usually you don't have the information to be able to hand me. And you just showed me that by saying, with my own two eyes. So that means that you are using anecdotes as your... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Notes. I have no notes, no computer. You got the computer in front of you. You got.
Aren't you talking to me on a computer?
I'm on my iPhone 18.
Do you not know that an iPhone is a computer in your hand?
I mean, you got quicker.
Does it not compute?
Sure can, but I mean, like I said, you got two.
Great.
Fingers.
So while you have that, what you said you had that study, go ahead and teacup and grab it for me.
All right.
Anyways, chat, while he's doing that, go ahead and tap the screen. If you haven't hit that follow button up top, please do. Feel free to hit that follow button. We'd love to have you. If you haven't joined the Sparkle Sanctuary in Discord, if you haven't followed me on YouTube, and also check out my podcast. My links are in the bio. If you guys want to make sure that Black women are not doing labor for free, that would be awesome. Cash App is AJ Miller 3309. PayPal is Watch My Smoke ATL. You got that source?
It's posted in the chat.
What's the name of it? I'm sorry.
Marketplace.org 2020.
Marketplace.org. Let's see. Marketplace.org. Every city in the world was designed and built by men. That wasn't your claim.
I just typed it in. That's a source.
No, that wasn't your claim. Your claim, right, when we were talking about leaders, was that men were better leaders. And I asked for statistics on that, and you said there's statistics show that. So I'm asking you specifically for a study on that. Don't obfuscate. Let's have a conversation. Tell me where. I want to see the study that says that men are better leaders than men.
It's right there. I said my claim was men built society. They build our skyscrapers, our bridges, our roads, our iPhones, our TikTok panels.
So you're telling me no women are building roads?
They're not the CEOs.
No women are in construction.
They're not the project managers.
What does that have to do with anything? That just means that you created an exclusionary market where women don't really have the opportunity to get the same opportunities as men, which is great, which says another thing about how men have completely tried to dominate society. So you're proving my point for me in this moment. Keep going.
There's plenty of sources. Go look at rumble.com. Andrew Tate, he has them.
Is that your role model?
That's one of my role models. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that for you. It's kind of sad, but I mean, if those are the kind of leaders that you look up to, then I see why you are the man that you are. There's nothing I can do with that. Again, I don't understand why y'all come up here wanting me to argue your humanity. I can't tell you to be a better man. That's on you. Right. So what I'm arguing is the facts. And you specifically said, right, that men are better leaders. I want a study for that.
My claim was,
because all you just proved with saying that most places were built by men. Yes, we had years where you wouldn't allow women into the construction industry, and when you did, it was very, very minimal. So with that being said, yeah, it was just another facet of the patriarchy to be able to keep women out of male-dominated fields. This is not something that we don't see often. So
woman,
I don't really care about who your role models are. What I'm asking you for is data.
Women don't make the money though.
That's great. Show me a study on that. How many
billionaires are there that are women?
Can you show me a study on that?
Just look it up.
So you don't have a study on that one either.
It's not a study. It's a fact.
Oh, okay. So how do we know something's a fact without evidence?
Just go on Google.
Oh, okay. So we're going back to the Google thing. Which one did you choose? Which source did you choose when you were doing this research?
I just typed it in, just like you should have done.
Oh, perfect. So when you typed it in, it should be right there in your search history. Grab it.
Which claim?
Oh, that men are the main breadwinners.
Okay.
See, here's the thing. The thing is that what he doesn't understand, and this is why a lot of men stay single, is that when you get married, what's mine is yours. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. Everything that we do as a team. So if you're more concerned about the fact that you want to go to work and make the money just so you can throw it in her face, you weren't a man to begin with. Because when that woman is at home making sure that she's playing the nurse, the driver, the chauffeur, the psychologist, the art teacher, the chef, all of these different hats that she has to wear, then in that moment, now it doesn't matter because she does it for free. So what you're about to do, again, when you pull up whatever study that you're about to pull up, because I know there's some studies out there that actually will say that, I love that you are searching so deeply for your misogyny. And I'm making you look for it. Who's the bitch now?
Well, I'm trying to get a great one for you. Character limit reached. It won't allow me to paste it in.
Why don't you just tell me the name of the source? Why are you making things harder? That's such a man thing to do.
Medium age of awareness.
Median age of awareness?
80% of billionaires are men.
80% of billionaires are men. Why is that?
Like I just explained, they're the leaders.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Because there are factors that weigh into that. What are those factors?
They have ideas. They can contemplate what goes on in society, and they respect the market. They build around what's going on in the world to create better for humanity, like Elon Musk. He's created millionaires, from the cafeteria worker to the engineer and the space.
Right. So let's get back to the point. The point is, right, because you just keep on trying to pivot. That's so cute. What I'm asking you specifically, why are men Why are men billionaires? Does it have? It has nothing to do with societal norms. Nothing at all.
Nope. Women and men can go to college, or they can't go to college. They're free.
Oh, so men
They're
and
free to
women can
do
go to
what they
college. So let me ask you
free
a question.
will.
Why are men paid 52 cents more on the dollar than women? So if men are becoming richer faster, they're getting paid more, which means
And
that women are getting paid less to do the same job. So see, this
they
again,
bring
you're
more.
you're
They
just
bring
you're
more
just
value.
proving to everyone in my chat why you're lonely. Because you're talking about women being beneath you, looking at women as if they're beneath you, women looking at you as if they're beneath you, but yet and still, you actually went deep. You specifically said, and it's crazy, you said, trying to find a good one for you because you had to prove your misogyny. You had to prove how deep it went, right? On top of the fact that you didn't look at any other societal factors like gender wage gaps. You didn't look at any other factors like the fact that women were not allowed to join the workforce for the longest time. And when we actually were, it was because you guys were getting your ass kicked in war. Um, Thirdly, you can also talk about the fact that that women now hold more degrees, white women and black women and Asian women hold more degrees across the board and are the largest breadwinners in the world. So sure, there are very few billionaires, right? But when we talk about just regular homes on a regular basis, more women are actually going out to make the money, and that's what's pissing you guys off because
But
for the longest time, women have had to work twice as hard, and now you guys are actually having to compete with merit that we had to make because you kept telling us we didn't have it. But instead of you trying to make the problem better, you're just doubling down on your misogyny because it gets you accepted by people like the Tates and
it's because
Fuentes and
men they
whoever it is that you look up
have a
to.
bigger
Because see,
influence.
only one of us in this conversation require a leader. You require a leader as a grown man. I don't know any other grown men that require leaders.
Like, why? Let me explain to you this. Why did we have a men's World Cup where Messi's one of our great influencers
No, no,
on the
no.
field?
So you're obfuscating again. Why is it that you're an adult male and you
I'm reverse
require a
engineering your point.
leader? No, I'm asking you a question. Why are you an adult male that requires a leader?
I don't need a leader. I'm the leader.
But you specifically said like Donald Trump was the leader in the beginning, like y'all's leaders. When you started going on to the
Oh,
whole
because
leftist thing, you talked about leaders. You specifically said that. And then you talked about Andrew Tate being your role model as a grown man. So I'm asking you specifically, right? Why do you as a grown man need a leader? See, if you need a leader, then maybe women are not your problem.
there's alpha and then there's ultra alpha. Like Tate
Do you understand what alpha means?
means you're the head. You're the tribe leader. You're the
So if let me ask you a question. Do you know that a man who actually like loves to put Legos together and was in a room of other people who couldn't really do Legos that well would be the alpha in that room? The person who at the end of the day, let's just say the guy who could eat the most hamburgers in 2 hours versus the rest of the beginners in the room would be the alpha. The person who has seen the most movies I would be the alpha in this conversation because I have more information than you about the conversation that we're
you have
having.
more
So when we talk
experience.
about
We're
alpha,
getting
see, the
somewhere.
thing is, you have to have a title for your manhood in order to validate it. Most men don't
We're
need
getting
that.
somewhere. More experience. More things, more experience, which Trump and Tate have. They're billionaires. They have life
Yeah, I don't
experience.
really care about them. I'm talking about you. See how deflection makes you a worse person? You're trying to deflect to them. I'm talking about you. My question to you specifically is why do you as a grown man require a leader? I don't know any other grown men in my purview that require leaders. I've never heard another grown man say to me that he looks up to another grown man. I've never heard that before. So it's very interesting how you've made women your problem this whole time, but yet and still, as a man who's supposed to be a leader, you require one. I don't get that.
Because he's our tribe leader. And since the dawn of human time, with
So
every
you need a
tribe,
leader.
I don't
So
need a
you
leader.
can't function on your own. You need someone to tell you what to do.
They make my life better. How about that? There's
Okay.
like my bro. When you have a band of brothers around you, like-minded, they make your life easier. They make it better. They put more money in your pocket. Not necessarily they're my personal leader, but they're the head of.
But you're calling them the head of something when you're supposed to be the head of your own shit. Remember, you're the alpha.
the head of the universe.
You specifically just said that you were an alpha. And so how can you be an alpha when you require a leader? Those two things can't happen.
But I don't control the universe. That's them.
Yeah, so let's go back to talking about you. My question is about you. So you want to talk about everybody but
I don't have that much
So I
power.
think in this moment what you're realizing, right, is the fact that you have put all of your masculinity into the hands of two other men. And so you're sitting here because of the fact that someone else holds your own masculinity in their hands that you don't know, who you will never probably meet. You blame women for that because you require a leader at your big age. Now we're getting somewhere. I think we're having a breakthrough, Dylan. I really think we're having a breakthrough.
They control the narrative. What goes on in this universe? I don't. Trump and Tate.
Oh, well, they control your narrative. If that's the kind, I can't. Again, so listen, I can't argue your insanity. I can't argue your humanity, and I can't argue your delusion. So now we're at a point in the conversation where we've gotten to you just arguing your opinion because at this point you don't have anything else to talk about. But what we did learn today was that you hate women and you require men to be able to lead you. Got it. You have a great rest of your day.
I don't hate women.
Crazy work. Crazy work. I will never understand. You say you're alpha, but you require a leader. If you're alpha, you are the leader. And so you guys a lot of people don't understand what alpha means. A sous chef in a kitchen full of cooks would be the alpha. I don't get what y'all be on. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I've never understood the alpha and beta concept, me personally. I just feel like if you a grown ass man, just be a grown ass man. Don't do no hoe ass shit and I won't call you a hoe ass nigga. And that's just what it is. I can't tell you how to be a fucking man. But what I can tell you is that if you haven't figured it out by the time you're fucking that big fucking age, what was he, 24? Then how can you be mad at women? You just as much of a bitch as me. If you haven't figured it out at 24 years old, you're telling me you're walking around and you depend on two grown ass men that you'll never meet to hold on to your masculinity? Gross. Anyways, Trump supporters, if you're friendly, it's not personal. I just cleared the box. Also, yeah. If you're not following me, hit that follow button up there. Thank you guys so much for being here. Glad you guys all came in to hang. Also, hit the gift gallery. If you guys can help with the gift gallery, that pushes me further up into the league so I can have more of these conversations. I've been doing this consistently now going on about 8 months and I really enjoy it. And so I do it full time now. This is how I function. Poli-sci grad, love to speak about politics, love to talk about pretty much anything. If you guys, I appreciate you for being here so much. I don't like to do all the screaming. I don't like to do all the yelling. It's a lot for me. So if I'm boring, please let me know. Because I know my voice can get like, oh God, she's boring. But I don't know. Hi.
Polly, how you doing?
What?
Nothing. I just called you an abbreviation of your TikTok name. I called you Polly. Is that okay?
No, you can just call me Unicorn. Thanks.
Okay. How are you doing?
How old are you? I'm good. How old are you?
27.
Okay. And who'd you vote for?
Trump.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Pretty much anything. I mean, I'm pretty intellectual, and anything that hasn't gone on like the last week. So anything before this past week, I've been on vacation. So if there's some new breaking news,
just tell me what Trump is doing. How's Trump making America better?
I mean, there's multiple different things that I enjoy and that I like about the Trump administration. I don't fully embrace any administration. Like, I don't think he's the best president, and I disagree with him on many different things. But I do agree with some of the tariffs. I do agree with
some of the tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with every single tariff. I don't agree with a lot of the blanket tariffs, and I think a lot of them were deemed unconstitutional, anyways.
What
But
tariffs do you agree with?
there's the solar panel tariffs, and then um, there's also just tariffing China in general for the most part. I mean,
What?
yeah, I think
So
that.
we
Can I
rescinded
finish?
green energy contracts only to tax imports of green energy? That doesn't
Can
make
I finish?
sense. Yeah, I
So,
guess.
a lot of the goods that we receive here in the United States of America happen to come from China. I think that it would be important to our infrastructure when it comes to our manufacturing to tariff a lot of these Chinese goods. As far as the blanket tariff, I don't think that's necessarily beneficial because there's a
Who
lot
is
of
that
things
good
we get.
for?
Hold on, can I finish?
I'm just trying. I mean,
You can ask me anything you want as soon as I'm done making my statement, if that's okay with
yeah, you're
you.
making a very long statement. So can
Right.
we
Well,
can
it's,
we get
it's
to
not
it?
just so when you're talking international politics, it's not just one, two, three. But yeah, so I think that truthfully, I truthfully um, think that the tariffs on a lot of the Chinese goods is beneficial due to the fact that it can help us when it comes to manufacturing goods here in the United States. Obviously, when we first start manufacturing, we're not going to be able to do it as cheap. We're not going to be able to do it as quick. But when we invest in our own manufacturing and we invest, will you give me a minute?
I'm just
When we invest in our own
I'm
manufacturing,
laughing at
we get the ball rolling. We can be strong competitors, especially when it comes to quality. A lot of the shit that we get from China breaks down extremely easy. You can look at our microwaves, our ovens, our washers, our dryers, the basics. And even when they say assembled in America, it's always Chinese products or
uh,
parts and components that are used to make these things.
uh, and that's why you agree with tariffs.
To an extent, I mean, like I said,
Wait,
I
wait,
don't
wait. No,
agree
no,
with
no,
it
no, no.
necessarily being
That was a
a
yes or no question.
blanket, a
I
blanket.
don't need. I don't need all that. I don't need all that. That's okay.
Yeah, yeah, I would like American goods that last longer, higher quality, and I don't care if it costs a little more.
Okay. What does that infrastructure look like? How does that look in terms of transforming our power grid? How does that look in terms of infrastructure? How do we how what would the source of capital be in order to be able to bring back manufacturing investment while still ensuring consumer confidence? See, the thing is you guys have this cut and dry idea of international politics. So when you said international politics is not just A, B, and C, you're right. Because my question to you specifically would be that investment into infrastructure, that investment into our power grid, on top of the fact that most Americans would be paying directly into it instead of us just taking out geo. I'm sorry, tax bonds where we could actually create the money off of tax revenue by directly investing back into this country instead of increasing taxes on people and using a regressive tax system to be able to not have people spend more money in the economy. So basically, you're trying to kill two birds with one stone, but really you're killing both birds. I mean, you're not killing both birds. You're really just knocking yourself in the head with it because it doesn't make sense because you're talking about increasing prices on American consumers, increasing prices on American businesses, and then you're talking about taking 10 to 15 years, I'll say 5 to 10 years, to build the infrastructure while people are actively losing jobs, people are actively losing homes. We're looking at manufacturing investment, which is down, right? And I'm just trying to understand how that makes sense.
I don't care if it takes 100 years. I don't care if you and I are paying 15% extra for everything for the next 100 years. If it's better for the greater good of this nation in the long run, it's greater good for our grandchildren in the long run. This is where you and I differ. You want results right now. You want things to be cheaper right this second. I
No,
want
you
things to be
do.
cheaper. Hold on, let me finish. I want things to be cheaper in the long run, and I want things to be better, higher quality in the long run for my descendants. Let's say that down at Tractor Supply, or not Tractor Supply. Let's say down at we can go with Walmart, we can go with Harbor Freight, whatever you want. Let's say a socket set, right? A socket set costs $100 from China. Let's say we tariff it to oblivion. Now it's a $200 socket set, but it's made of fucking garbage. Okay, it's made of absolute fucking garbage. Then an American company can come in and make a socket set and say that the American socket set costs $220. Okay. But because the Chinese socket set that was 100 is tariffed to an oblivion, is now 200, and now the American socket set is 220, but it's higher quality, better material, made in the U.S., invests back into the country instead of sending our money overseas. This is very important to me, and I would much rather spend $220 on an American-made socket set that'll last me a lifetime versus a garbage socket set from China that's going to break the second time I use it.
I appreciate that. So my question specifically would be, how are we going to build that infrastructure? How will we reform the power grid? How will we make sure that people are taken care of in this moment? And let's just say that we did have that $200 socket set. If nobody's working, if manufacturing investment is down, nobody's hiring, people are losing everything, and the consumer confidence is down, who's buying it?
Right. I mean, so we can talk about problems that are going on economically inside the United States today.
Right, but
I
can you answer
truthfully
my
don't think
questions
that's as
first?
bad as you. I truthfully
How
don't.
does that
I'm getting
how
there.
does
I'm
the
getting there.
infrastructure up
I'm
you
getting
you
there.
you just I just went on mute and gave you a good minute to answer that question. So I'm gonna just make sure I ask it correctly the last time. Number one, how would that infrastructure upgrade look? How long would it take? How much would it cost? Number two, how would we completely reform our power grid? We had to up our power grid just putting in fucking electric chargers for Teslas. So you're telling me that we can bring in 10 to 20 years worth of infrastructure without updating the power grid? On top of that, right, we still have to look at how that looks logistically. We're talking about pulling out of China when the truth of the matter is it takes about 9 months to hire 6 workers right here in the United States of America, and it takes about 1 month to hire 53 workers in China. So with that being said, they have a larger workforce participation, which keeps prices down for us. If it keeps prices down for us, right, we don't necessarily have to worry about having to put tariffs on anybody, because number one, if people can afford to buy something that's more than $1, that means they're spending more than $1. So if I have a $3 box of cereal and a $1 loaf of bread, right, that means I'm going to put more back into the economy than I am with just trying to buy a $5 box of cereal that at the end of the day is not really going to help anybody. So what you're not understanding is you keep trying to create this whimsical plan in your mind, yet and still the people who've given you this idea don't even know how they would carry it out. So I was hoping maybe you had a different approach to this. How would we reform the power grid, and how would that infrastructure look? How much would it cost, and how would we implement it?
Yeah, obviously, I wouldn't be able to come up with the off the bat number off the top of my head how much it would cost to upgrade the infrastructure and the power grid here inside the United States. But a lot of this, other than the power grid, a lot of the infrastructure that we're talking about is
Wait a minute.
privately owned
Come. Wait. Wait.
companies.
Wait. No.
Hold
No.
on,
No. 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 No.
let me finish. Let me finish.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you
No,
finish.
okay,
But
okay.
here's
This
my
is the
question.
debate.
My question to you specifically is: you said obviously you don't have the numbers off the top of your head, and you can't just put the plan out there. If that was Trump's plan the whole time, why doesn't he have a plan? Why can't you read from that
You don't
one?
understand how capitalism works. A lot of this is privately owned companies.
You are
I mean,
right. I have no idea how capitalism works. You're right.
right. Right. A lot of this is privately owned companies. When it comes to infrastructure here in the manufacturing industry in the United States of America, yeah, a lot of it's going to be huge investments by huge companies such as Tesla from Elon Musk. I mean, there's many different things. We have the most important people inside of the globe. We have some of the wealthiest people inside of the world. We're doing a lot here to upgrade the manufacturing. I don't think if you understand how many different warehouses are being built right now, how many
Show me.
different chain restaurants, corporations.
Where can I find
Yeah,
that?
I mean, and there's also plans for the near future to start doing things in the industry.
Can you tell me where I can find those contracts?
Yeah, I can show you different plans that different
No,
organizations
what no
have
no no
for
no
near
no 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 no.
future in the
Because if we
United
have a
States of
government if we
America.
have a government contract, we'd be able to find that, right? It would tell us how much it is, right? And that money would be
A
recorded in the Department
government
of the Treasury.
contract
When we go to
for
the Department of the
warehouses?
Treasury, tell me what to click on.
Hold on. Government contracts for warehouses for privately owned companies?
No, any money that goes out of the government has to be reported, meaning that if those contracts, which we have to pay people, that money is going to go out. It's going to tell us who it went to. So I'm asking you, on the Department of the Treasury, where should I go and look?
I don't think you understood what I said. I didn't say that the government is issuing contracts to build factories.
So then I'm not understanding what you're saying, because if you're saying that we're charging higher regressive taxes, right, to be able to take said taxes, which is government money, and then we're going to
No.
reinvest it back into America, are we not going to be giving government contracts?
No, so like maybe that might have some sort of role. You're gonna have to enlighten me on that. But what I'm talking about with the tariffs
I'm
is
sorry, are you not
raising the
aware of how
prices,
government contracts work?
raising. No, I'm not. I was never talking about government contracts. Raising the
Well, I'm
prices on
asking. You
Chinese
said it
goods.
was we were
Hey,
going to
hold
invest
on.
directly back
Why
into
can't I fucking
manufacturing.
talk?
If we're taking,
You just
because what you're saying doesn't make sense.
no, because you
If
weren't understanding
if
what the
we're
fuck I'm
implementing
saying.
regress, okay. If we're implementing regret, you're right. I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish, because sometimes you just got to give them enough rope, friends.
Increasing the prices of things coming from other countries. Like I said, I don't agree with them necessarily being blanketed. But when it comes to a fucking fly swatter, why are we buying it from China when we can make those here in the United States of America for pennies on the fucking dollar? This is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So why would you want to buy a Chinese fly swatter that falls apart 1 year after using it when you can make an actual high quality fly swatter here in the United States of America that lasts you a fucking lifetime? I mean, I never mentioned government contracts and using the tariffs to invest back into manufacturing here in the United States. What I said is the plans. What I said is the plans for
Why
all these
not?
major companies and organizations to monopolize on the fact, monopolize here in the United States on the fact
Why do we want
that goods are
monopolies
getting
and
more
free
expensive
markets?
from
Wait,
China.
wait.
Why? No, I'm actually
I
about
thought
to
you
leave.
fuck with free
You haven't
markets.
let me finish a single statement this
Wait,
entire
because
time. You constantly
I
cut me
thought
off. This is
Republicans fuck with
absolutely
free
fucking
markets.
egregious
So
behavior.
why do
Like
we need
this is like
monopolies and free
how do you even
markets?
have 80 viewers? Because like I honestly think you should have fucking six.
Oh, wah. So my question to you specifically is, why do we want monopolies and free markets?
Are we gonna be able to have an actual conversation here?
You brought up monopolies. I feel like we've been talking this whole time. I haven't raised my voice. I didn't trip on you. I gave you sources for everything I
No,
said.
you're
I think
cutting
I've
me
been
off
quite nice.
constantly. That's not a
Well,
debate.
that's because you keep lying.
I'm not lying.
Okay.
All I've been able to say because you cut me off so many times is prices go up on imported goods
Uh huh.
better
Right.
for manufactured goods here in the United States. Better for the
Mm-hmm.
companies that own those. That's all I've said. And
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about government contracts. You're talking about
Mm-hmm.
shit that I never even mentioned.
Because that are you sure,
You just said that I made
sir?
up some sort of fairy tale
You're
end over
talking
my
about the
head.
fact.
No,
Okay,
the
so
plan
tell
is
me. No, 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 no.
raise the
You
price on.
said specifically. I'm going to go back to your argument. You specifically said, right, that tariffs were going to bring manufacturing back, meaning that we are implementing said tax system, and said money that we receive from tariffs, we are going to put back into the economy, bring back manufacturing, and people are going to be able to go back to work right here in America. If you are using taxpayer money to implement this particular system, that would mean, right, that we would have to track where that money goes. We would have to track who we're giving that money to, and we would have to track the activities of said corporation or company or whatever they are, because those are the people that are going to be contracting the work out of the government to complete said infrastructure. That's how this works. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but if we're talking about using government money to actually invest in in manufacturing, it would require that. Also, if you're talking about tariffs, we're talking about the fact that right now tariffs are going to be paid back to companies. So we're not keeping any of that money anyway. So I'm just trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Well, to start off, in general, our power grid is very exposed and very weak, and the entire thing needs to be ripped up from the ground up and rebuilt in the first place. Anyways, if you don't
Okay.
know anything about that, do you agree with me on that? That there's a
I'm the one that
very
asked you about
small
the power grid, love.
there's very small key
Ayana, I
components
love you. I'm
and
such a
key
huge fan.
there's really small key components and small locations here in the United States of America that if we're attacked
No
would
way.
absolutely cripple the United States of America. This
Are
is
you
exactly
serious?
why we need to upgrade the entire power grid in general anyways. So if you're sitting
Oh
up
my
here, oh, where's
goodness.
this money going to come from? Maybe stop going to war. I just told you earlier that I don't agree
Oh,
with everything that Trump does. Maybe stop going to war, invest in the power grid.
wait a minute. The last two wars were started by. Go ahead.
No, just because I have true conservative ideology and true
Hmm.
conservative values when it comes
What are your
to,
conservative values?
yeah, old school traditional roles in the family,
What are old school traditional roles?
nuclear.
Oh, so like nuclear meaning that two parents and children, right?
Yeah, preferably more than two.
What does
Biblical.
nuclear mean?
Nuclear family or nuclear, like, what do you mean?
In the sense of family, what does it mean?
Nuclear family? If I'm not mistaken, it's a traditional roles family.
Nope, just means core,
Yeah,
meaning that there are two parents and children. So nuclear isn't necessarily gender based.
sure. I could really give a fuck less
No.
what people do in their free time. I don't talk about what people do in their bedrooms. I don't give a shit.
So then
Anyway,
you said you wanted to go back to the nuclear family, and then now you cussing me out because I said that it
yeah, no.
wasn't nuclear.
If you want to talk about families, we can. Back in the year 1950, it was the beginning of the Boomer generation. It was
Mhm.
also when America was 90% Christian.
Mhm.
So it just happens to be. Oh, and we're doing great economically as well. It just so
Mhm.
happens to be when America was 90% Christian.
Mhm.
It was the beginning of the time period where people had as many children as possible, got
Mhm.
married as young as possible,
Mhm.
and stayed together for as long as possible.
Mhm. Okay. So let me ask you a question. When were women allowed to divorce their husbands?
It was like 1960 something.
Uh huh. And then let me ask you a question. What happened around 1945?
There's a lot that happened around
What the
1945.
main thing? That one thing that
You're
happened.
gonna have to do so. You're gonna have to say something else other than what happened in 1945 because I can go on a
It's like
crazy rant
literally like the
about
biggest
things
thing
that
that happened in
happened in
1945.
1945. Just tell me.
Like right around September.
Why don't you just get to the point and be like, okay, this happened in 1945 in September,
Okay, so
and
you
this is
don't know
how it
what happened in
changed.
1945. It's fine. World War II ended. What happened after World War II ended?
Is this even what happened after World War II ended? I don't know. Trump was elected to office. What the fuck
No.
are you talking
What
about?
happened economically? What happened after World War II ended? Are you familiar?
Yeah, there was a huge economical boom here in the United States
Because
of
of what?
America.
Why?
There's many different reasons. Men came
It's one
home.
big reason. It's a very large reason. Just
Men
one
came
big one.
home. Christian, conservative, white men came home and
Oh,
brought back.
that's actually incorrect. So the whole thing is what happened was other countries had been ravaged by the war so much, and because they had put so many of their resources into it, America really still was kind of the superpower, but they were kind of the up and coming superpower. So in that moment, they had a lot more negotiating power with other countries. So they were able to make deals and help other countries, but they also were taking their resources, which was opening up jobs for other people in this country. It really had nothing to do with white men, to be 100% honest, and you guys coming home from war. I don't know what that was about. That was weird. Anyways, economically, it started to boom. And so at that time, right, what we were seeing was that women were still not allowed to divorce their husbands. So even women who were being raped daily by their husbands, women who, there were loving marriages, I'm sure. But for the most part, right, we were talking about women who were constantly being raped and beaten and mistreated by their husbands. They were financially abused by their husbands because they couldn't have their own bank account. So if we're wanting to talk about that space and time, then you would basically be talking about women being under the bondage of law, basically attached to their husbands. And if that's what you're going for, then I can't argue who you are as a man. That's a you problem.
Do you have stats on the percentage of women that this happened to? This is absolutely egregious for you just to assume that a
Was
large
it legal to
percentage.
rape your wife then?
It's absolutely egregious for you to assume that a large percentage of.
Was it legal to rape your wife?
I have no idea.
It was. So then that would mean that women had no legal recourse to be able to say that they were raped by their husbands. So with that being said, we don't even have a full count on how many women were victimized during that time. So how can you say that women weren't victims when you don't even have the numbers?
We can go
I
after
don't
the
have them
first
either.
year we can go after the first year that they were able to divorce their husbands. What was that, 1968?
Mhm.
Okay, so
Oh, I'm
19.
sorry. I could be wrong. Hold on. Let me double check
I
that
could be
because
too. That's why I said that. So we can go based off of that year. How many women divorced their husbands? How many women put in charges for
Not
grape?
necessarily,
I
because
mean,
you
to an
have to
extent. To an
understand that per
extent.
psychology,
If
a
it was
woman is
very
at her
large,
most at her highest risk of dying when she's leaving a relationship. So a lot of women were afraid to still leave their relationships. A lot of women were afraid to go out there on their own because they still were financially dependent on their husbands. On top of the fact, right, that many of them, excuse me, during that time, if they would have tried to leave, many of them were in danger. Some of them, again, like I said, weren't able to stand on their own 2 feet. Some of them didn't have families. Some of their families were pretty much like, hey, you're getting married, go on about your way. So with that being said, as times were changing, that doesn't necessarily mean ideologies and people change too. So that would be very disingenuous to say that about the argument. Come on, let's be honest here.
if you have absolutely no stats to go off of to even make your claim in the first place, why did you make it? But
Oh, I didn't say there were no stats. I didn't say
I do
that.
agree with you that yeah, most likely could have happened. But trying to agree on a percentage that it did happen is
Uh-huh.
absolutely egregious.
Uh-huh.
Trying to come up with some sort of number that we have absolutely no statistics on, and I agree with you that even if it happened to 1% of women, that is an absolutely disgusting thing to happen in the first place.
Uh-huh.
But why even bring that into a debate other than just to completely throw me off because you knew that I was actually winning?
No, you brought up the 1950s, but you didn't give context. So I figured we would actually talk about the context. And I figured if you brought up that period in time and that was something, that was the hill that you wanted to stand on, that I'd stand on it with you and we'd have an equitable debate. You didn't want to do that? That's not a thing? Okay. All right. A bit.
Second, I'm figuring out when women could divorce their husbands and getting some sort of stats or data to support what you're saying for you. I'm
Yeah, they
doing
could
the job
divorce
for
their
you.
husbands around the 17 to
I'm
1800s.
doing
But
the
I'm
job
talking
for
about when
you.
women actually had the option to be able to divorce their husbands, have their own homes, have their own bank accounts, their own income, all of those different things. Those were different. That was a different time.
Wow. So you're telling me that when men came home from World War II
Uh huh.
and there was a large percentage of women in this country because of all the men who had lost their lives overseas and passed in the process of World War II, when women outnumbered the men in this country, that it was impossible for women who could divorce their husbands to find another mate. That's what
Another
you're telling
husband.
me.
So basically, they were supposed to leave one abuser and go to another one without healing first
Why
because
are
they
you just
just
assuming
needed
that
a man at
everybody's
that
an
time.
abuser? Why
I'm
is
just
everybody an
saying,
abuser in
was
this
it was
country?
it was it
Why
was
is
it not common
everybody
practice?
an
No, 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 no,
abuser?
no, no, no. Did we not have
How
laws that were
common?
written that said you could beat your wife outside of a courthouse unless
How
it's Sunday?
common?
Did we not have laws that actually made it legal to beat and rape women? Did we not? Why
How
would we have
common was it?
why would we have
What
laws
are you
to
talking? It
legalize it?
was
Hold
legal
on.
to
Why
rape
would we have
women.
laws? Why would we? Yes, at one point it was legal. It was not
What? At
illegal to
what
rape your
point?
wife.
At
If you
what
were
point? We're
married if you
talking
were
about
married to hold
1950.
on, slow down. If you were married to the person at one point in history, it was not illegal to rape your wife.
Which point in history?
Let's take a look. When did raping your wife? This is so crazy how I'm doing all your homework for you today. But you have
You're the one
so
that
much
made
to
the
say about
claim.
the
We're talking
nuclear
about
family.
76 years
Oh,
ago.
on July 5th, 1993, marital rape became a crime in all 50 states.
So it wasn't legal to do so. It became a crime.
Oh, so if it's not illegal, then what is it?
Do you understand what necessarily like just the term legal is absolutely crazy in this situation? Yeah,
Well, let me ask you
you could
this.
definitely
If I,
divorce your
let's just
husband
say
and steal
let's
into a
just
fucking
say I
oblivion.
posed as a 15-year-old girl and you just took my advances and you said, yes, I like you, 15-year-old lady. And I said, I was messaging you back and forth and you never knew that I was actually a 35-year-old woman with 3 kids and a husband, but I was bound to catch you. But when you get arrested, because the law is set up the way that it's set up, they say, you know what? He's a sick fuck. But because you're 35, technically he wasn't actually breaking the law. So do you understand that because something isn't legal doesn't mean isn't illegal doesn't mean it's you see what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily
If somebody
You
absolutely
can't go to
destroys your
jail for
life,
something that's
if,
not illegal.
if somebody absolutely destroys your life and does egregious things to you for long stints of time, and you divorce them, like we already agreed that people could divorce before then. You take them to court and absolutely send them to oblivion. Would
Oh,
that be considered a legal process?
how were women treated when they brought court cases at that time, especially against their husbands?
Listen, I was telling you about how
No,
America
you. I
best
just responded to
is,
specifically what you said.
and
We have to address
and
this. We have
if
to address
America
the
just happened to
societal
be
factors of that
a
time. We
majority
have to address
Christian
the
and the
stigmas
best
of that time.
economically,
We
and
have to
men had
address
control
the
over
trends
women,
of that
that just
time.
says something
Because
about
what you're
women getting
doing
their
is you're
fucking
applying
rights.
you're applying 2026 incel logic to 1950, and it just doesn't work. Because the time was completely different. Stigmas were different. Rules were different. Laws were different. Right. The way that we treated women were different. Everything. Pyro's here. I love you so much, Pyro. Hey. We, everything was different in that time for women, for black people, right? I mean, even at that time, Italians and Irish people. I mean, things were
Honestly,
completely different at that time. So let's talk about it. You
yeah.
bring up the times, but you don't want to talk about the context. So you're telling me that in a time where it was legal to rape your wife couldn't have a bank account, your wife couldn't own her own home, she couldn't take out a mortgage, she couldn't go and get credit anywhere, that she was just going to go out and find another man after you was whooping her ass. No, what she was going to
Let's
do was
talk
she was
about
going to stay. I would much rather stay with one abuser and let him kill me than go and find another one.
it. Okay,
Right
so
at
yeah,
this point,
let's
like what
talk
you're
about it.
forgetting, see, what you're doing is you're comparing the way that. Tell me this: why is it that when men lose their wives, they marry usually on an average of about 6 to 12 months later? When
Why
women
do you
lose their
think that America
husbands,
went
they
downhill and we gave these people their rights?
who is these people?
Women.
Again, I can't argue who you are as a man. That's you. I can't. I mean, it is what it is. Women are going to be women. Men are going to be men. We're going to live in a society that requires the both of us to exist. So you hating women, I can't argue your hate for women. That's something that is deep inside of you that you may be dealing with from
I
some type
don't
of
hate
trauma or
women.
something
I
that
think
you
that there's
dealt
a
with. I
certain
don't have
place.
anything to do with
I think
that.
there's a certain place
That's a
for
you
women
problem.
to
And the
make
fact
some
that you said
family
that out loud
goals.
is crazy. But my whole thing here is you're sitting here and okay, so your whole issue here is that you want to go back to a period where women didn't have rights. And if that's what you wanted to say, you could have said that at the
At
beginning.
least the right to vote and be in public office. You know, if we could start with that and see where it goes, I think
Why do you
we
not want
might.
women in public
Can I
office?
finish? Hold on. So I think that if we started with that, we might actually see a huge change here in the United States of America, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
understand why the 1950s was so much better. That would be a good start.
Mm-hmm. So,
What was your
anyways,
question?
so yeah, your whole thing is that you hate women. I get it, but my
No,
whole
I
thing is
don't.
this: if when we
I
talk about
love
what,
women.
okay, I got you.
There's a
That's fine.
certain place
My
for them to
question to you
cave to,
specifically is: if
especially in the law.
you would have to give me some type of statistical data to prove that this would be a good idea. I need to see a study saying that women are worse leaders, and that women don't function well in political office. Like, can you show me
Yeah,
the study?
AOC declaring or
No,
wanting
no,
to
no. I
declare.
didn't ask you for an anecdotal. I asked you again
Yeah.
for a
Well,
controlled experiment with variables, with a methodology and deductive reasoning. I'd like to see it.
no, I'd like to talk to you about multiple different women in public office right
No,
now.
you would have to
Ilhan
give me a
Omar,
study because, see, what you're
AOC.
doing right now is you're only arguing your opinions, and that's a waste of my time. So, what I need to see is if we're going to argue statistics, we have to argue in fact.
Do you
And
think
so,
that
what
a
I'm
sea war
asking
would
you,
be beneficial?
what I'm asking you specifically is for a source to prove your claim that women don't belong in public office because we are some type of detriment. And I want a source to prove that women shouldn't have the right to vote because I would love to see those studies. Go grab me one. I'll
When
be
was
here when you
America
get back.
best? When was America best? Before women had the right to vote. Before women could hold public office.
You still don't have
When
that
did we?
source, though.
No. When was America the
I'm just
best?
waiting on that source.
Tell me.
I'm just waiting on that source. Just whenever you're ready.
Have a good rest of your night.
I figured.
Bye, Malik.
Hello.
Oh, did you think he was Frank?
Yeah, he ran real quick, didn't he?
Oh man, I just love when they come up and fuss. Hello, are you a Trump supporter? Sue? Sue Ray? Sue Ray, do you know you're here? No. Sue Ray does not know Sue Ray is here. Guys, I think I am about to call it. Wait a second. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it. You saw he said bye Malik. Why you say it so crazy? All right, guys, if you haven't hit that follow button up top, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, you deserve to be a part of the sparkle. Hit that follow button. I'd love to have you. If you haven't joined the Discord, make sure you hit my bio for the Discord. It is completely free to join, and all the resources in there are free for you to use. Whatever you need, it's there. Also, if you haven't followed me on YouTube yet, guys, make sure you follow me on YouTube. We have a really cool launch coming up. I am working with the Erica Shante to get my YouTube fixed. So we're going to be working with her soon to get all that squared. And I'm really excited. So we are going to be doing some really great things. And I'm super excited about it. Shout out to Erica for like literally being my guardian angel on this app from the beginning. She was the one that told me, you need to start doing this. You need to start going live more. I want to see you go live more. And now here I am every day here for you guys. So shout out to Erica. She is like the best. Paving the way for the brown intellectual girlies to actually have a platform. So shout out to her. Also, let's see what else. Oh, if you guys haven't checked out the podcast, please feel free to check out the podcast. It is called You Ought to Know Better. And it is just basically breaking down political psychology and just basically how and why people look at things the way they look at things, why people make the decisions that they make based on the information that they're given. So there's a whole lot that we have to do to get that fixed. But as y'all know, every single night I leave you with something positive before we get up out of here. And today I got something for y'all, and it's been on my mind all day. And it might not be as cool to you as it is to me, but I have been literally thinking about this all day because it just literally, I don't know if it was like a brain worm. Jesus. No. Get away from me, RFK. An earworm is what I was saying. Because I can't stop saying it. You can build your own table by repurposing pieces of yourself that you've neglected that you still find beauty in. Let's say it again. It's rough out here right now, and a lot of us are having to build our own tables. Hear me out. You can build your own table with repurposed pieces of you. If you haven't touched on your intellectual side in a minute, repurpose it. If you haven't focused on awareness, discipline, refocus, repurpose. If you wanted to work out and you wanted to do something better in terms of your health, repurpose, refocus. If you wanted to amp your resume up, repurpose, refocus. If you wanted to start your own platform, repurpose, refocus. Because the pieces of you that you neglect are just going to rot over time. You still got time to refurbish that wood. You still got time to put a new coat of gloss on it. You still got time to not make it look like what it's been through. So I want you to understand that in this moment, those pieces of you that you've neglected are not worthless, are not useless. They require you to repurpose them, to build your own table. Because if you don't build it, the rest of your life, you'll be waiting on someone to invite you to theirs. And as always, as I tell y'all every night, if you don't have enough sparkle today, that's okay. Take your time, replenish, take care of you. I'll be here, and I'm here if you need me. If you do have enough sparkle, it's a dark world out there. Sprinkle some. We could use your light. And as I tell you every night, unicorns in the chat, my friends, I love you too. In a world full of jackasses, always remember to be a unicorn. Good night, my loves. I will see you tomorrow.